Got young Jack working on the cameras right now. He's doing an excellent job. Glad he could make it in. Make sure you get a slice of pizza here. And we have another sponsor, Lewandowski of Skeet Service Station. If you need a car worked on, anything that runs on gas, give Skeets a call, 724-348-4175. That's right past Trax Farm in Mineral Beach. Skeets Lewandowski, Skeets Service Station, red, white, and blue station. Been there for years. 7 miles from my house in Bethel Park. 15 minutes away. You can't beat it. 724-348-4715. And they sponsor us with a pizza. Man, I got to try another piece. Delicious pizza. It's fresh. You can't go wrong. Mitch made the nice batch of pizza and the hoagie. That's our man. We've been doing it a couple years with Olive Oil's Pizzeria. And we're going to start our show off with What's on Your Mind, Chip Hayner.
Well, good evening, everybody. And what's on my mind this week? Well, finally, Mike Tomlin has broken his silence.
It's a miracle.
And, it's, interesting, all of the things that happened with the Steelers season last year. They've been well documented, and we don't need to go into all of the different things. And
no.
We've discussed this ad nauseum, but, to reiterate some, I think, of the salient points, there were a lot of people who did a lot of things wrong last year that kind of caused the season to derail. And I think the one thing that we lose sight of, everybody seems to think that the season was a complete disaster. But the last time I looked at the record, we were 9-6-1. And there's a lot of teams that haven't seen 9 wins in a decade or more. Okay? Right. And so, that all being said, instead of trying to assign the blame to any one person, if you look at all of the culprits, and I think all of them have a hand in it, but what's going on now is all kinds of people are coming to Ben's defense, trying to say that he's a good leader and so on and so forth. Even James Harrison, who's been one of the Steelers' biggest critics as of late, came to Ben's defense. And, I think if some of the things that I heard Mike Tomlin say today struck a note with me, you're not going to ever hear this man say, I screwed up. I'm sorry. It was all my fault. That's just not his style.
Right.
And if that's what you need to move past this, then I don't know. Maybe you ought to change your meds. It's just my humble opinion. But I think Mike Tomlin said that it was a 9-6 season last year. And, and he was more disappointed with the outcome of that season than probably everybody else. And what you have to do after the kind of season that the Steelers had last year is you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, what do I need to do differently? And I think there's everybody involved with the Steelers needs to do just that, from Art Rooney II, the owner, down to Kevin Colbert, Mike Tomlin, Ben Roethlisberger, and even the teammates of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. And I'm not going to mention Lev Bell or Antonio Brown because they're no longer part of the team. They've chosen to move on. The Steelers are going to move on. And I think what the Steelers have right now is a grand opportunity to change the near future of the Pittsburgh franchise. We've got 10 draft picks in this draft.
Yeah.
They've made some free agent acquisitions that I think strengthened the team. They did not hurt the team. They've locked up some people to some contracts. They brought back Ramon Foster. They've locked up Marquise Pouncey.
Yeah.
They're getting set to renegotiate Ben's contract. And, there's the very strong possibility that they could move up in the draft, trade up into the draft to do something to bolster the defense. But, one of the things that I think, and I was a very big critic of Ben Roethlisberger and, in my opinion, his lack of leadership. And I think if Ben were to go about doing things the same way next year that he did them last year, I think we could expect nothing short of what we had last year, which was an abysmal failure. I think right now what Ben needs to do is Ben needs to prove beyond any question of a doubt to the world that he is an elite quarterback, that he is a future Hall of Fame quarterback, and that he's capable of leading the Steelers to a Super Bowl victory. That would shut up all his critics. And Mike Tomlin has a chance to prove really what kind of a coach he is. Because if he looks back and reflects on the way that he's handled things, I am sure there are some things that he wish he would have done differently. And I think that Mike Tomlin's a smart enough man to evaluate his performance and find out what he needs to do to make himself better and to make his team better. So, glad to hear that Mike Tomlin took the high road, didn't bother to try to bash Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell. He acknowledged their accomplishments with the Steelers when they were here, and they are no longer Pittsburgh Steelers, so he's no longer going to comment about them. And pretty much, I'll do the same, but that's what's on my mind.
Thank you, Chip. Appreciate that. What's on my mind is March Madness. I like the team Duke, but they had a shocker against UCF the other day. They were losing till they got a putback on a missed foul shot by Zion, who had like 30-plus points again.
32.
Yeah,
32.
So, he's the real deal, but Duke can be beat. They're not insurmountable. You can beat them. They don't shoot threes very well, and they were tested on that front, so they were vulnerable and could have lost this game with one tip in. Aubrey Dawkins went up to tip the ball in and stuck it on the rim. What would have happened then? The poor kid had a great game, and he's just shocked by it. It's just unbelievable what happened. I enjoy March Madness. You have 14 out of 16 favorites won, so they're happy with that. The ratings are still up on that. It pulls a lot of people in there, and we didn't see the Cinderellas, but that happens.
The best part I like of the March Madness, the NCAA basketball tournament, is that most of the athletes that you watch in these games, their professional careers are not going to be in basketball.
This is it.
And most of these kids actually do get an education. The rare few, do go straight into the NBA. But I have always said this, the thing that I love about the college basketball format, the one and done, is that it's not the superstars that generally rule the day. It is the coaches that have the better team, that play together as a unit. And it's not just the starting five. You got to play all 10.
Or at least 8 or 9 of them. So,
right, yeah. And I love it because, a lot of these kids, this is the last game that they're ever going to play.
Sure.
And, in their basketball careers. And they're laying it out on the line.
Yeah, and you see the true sport, how it should be played.
Right. They're not worried about their marketing their brand. They're not worried
what
about
shoes they got
endorsement contracts. They're not pouting because somebody else got a bigger byline in the newspaper or anything like that.
No.
They're playing for the love of the game.
Yeah, and they want to win, which it's all out there on the court.
There it is.
I enjoy March Madness. Watch it again this weekend, starting Thursday. They've got the Sweet 16, so stay tuned with that.
Thursday and Friday, and the Elite Eight Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, so it'll be some type of tournament. Can't wait. It's rather exciting. I'm a big fan of it. I think of my dad often because he always watched it and won quite a few of those polls. So, he was out there in the middle of it and could pick some winners and upsets. This year he'd have been in trouble. So may he rest in peace and keep smiling down on us. We'll be back. Don't change that dial with some trivia.
First responder. Well, good evening, everybody. And I guess it's no secret that I am a gigantic baseball fan.
When did that happen?
Yeah, overnight. I woke up this morning and I felt this rumbling in my gut. No, I'll tell you what. I love baseball. I mean, it's a rite of spring, and it seems like just prior to opening day, regardless of who the team is that you root for, it feels like anything is possible.
Sure.
Okay. And then there's the first pitch. But, I will be going to the Pirates home opener on Monday. Pirates start off the season at 4:05 on Thursday at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Jameson Taillon on the hill. And the Pirates will start their journey of the 2019 baseball season. And Alan talks about, the memories he has of sitting and watching basketball with his father. And, I have the same connection with my father. May he rest in peace. My father was a Little League coach, taught me the game of baseball. He taught me to respect the game. He taught me about the history and the traditions of the game. And, when I sit at the ballpark, I feel like I can feel my dad sitting there next to me. And
he's right there with you.
He taught me how to score a game. I was no more than 7 years old. So, there's that. But I've got some interesting little tidbits that have happened over the years in Major League Baseball on opening day. And, oh, by the way, Skip Adkins, I welcome you, and I appreciate your friend request on Facebook. And I understand you look forward to my baseball trivia, so I've got some gems here for you. Sit back, stick your hand in that bowl of popcorn, and enjoy. From record-breaking feats to streaking fans, opening day has seen its share of memorable moments in baseball history. Let's go way back to the turn of the 20th century.
Whoa.
We're in the 21st century now, folks, so this is back a few years. On opening day in 1907, the New York Giants faced off against the Philadelphia Phillies at New York City's Polo Grounds. After a heavy snowstorm, when the Giants fell behind, disgruntled fans began flinging snowballs onto the field, forcing the umpire to call the forfeit in the Phillies' favor. So there you go. Forfeited game on the opening day of the season because of a snowball fight.
Wow.
Who threw the first pitch?
Wow.
Okay. On the first day of the 1910 season, William Howard Taft became the first president to throw the ceremonial first pitch. Since then, every president besides Jimmy Carter and Donald Trump has thrown at least one ceremonial first ball for opening day, the All-Star Game, or the World Series while in office. Back around the turn of the 20th century, there must have been a lot of crazy goings-on because there was an opening day riot in New York.
Wow.
Nonetheless. Brooklyn's Washington Park was the scene of an opening day riot on April 11th, 1912.
Wow.
With the Brooklyn Dodgers down 18-3, their rival, the New York Giants fans, stormed the field and delayed the game, which was eventually called on the account of darkness in the sixth inning.
Wow.
And does anybody remember what happened on April the 12th, 1912?
No.
The Titanic hit an
Whoa.
iceberg.
Wow.
See that? And not just baseball history.
We got this is world history.
There has been one no-hitter thrown on opening day.
I didn't know that.
Bob Feller, opening day no-hitter. There's only been one no-hitter on opening day history. Cleveland pitcher Bob Feller, then just 21 years old, threw it against the Chicago White Sox at Comiskey Park April 16th, 1940. And there was the mysterious case of the wet paint catches fans red-handed.
Whoa.
Boston Braves fans sat down to an unpleasant surprise on opening day in 1946. The outfield stands had recently received a fresh coat of red paint. But cold, damp weather had prevented it from drying. Hundreds of angry, paint-stained spectators marched to the Braves' office. The team agreed to pay their cleaning bills and made a public apology in a newspaper ad.
Well, they wore suits and ties back then, so.
Yes, they did. You don't see the kind of garb that we see
No.
at baseball games now, and I'm glad of it. Especially when the temperature
It's a little more relaxing.
Yes. Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier on opening day. Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier on opening day 1947, becoming the first African-American to play for a Major League Baseball team. The 28-year-old made his debut at Ebbets Field, playing first base for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Wow.
Another presidential showing. Harry Truman shows off his switch pitching. Harry Truman was the only president to throw out left-handed and right-handed first pitches on opening day. He showcased his ambidextrous talents on April the 18th, 1950.
Here, and another trivial fact on Truman. I've said it before. He was the only president to not go to college or graduate college and be president.
No, you know.
So that's a rarity
And he's
in
also
this day and age.
And he's also the president that made the decision to drop the first atomic bomb
Yeah.
to end the Second World War.
Yes.
Hank Aaron ties Babe Ruth's home run record. Hank Aaron of the Atlanta Braves hit his 714th home run on opening day in 1974.
Whoa, I forgot about it.
Tying Babe Ruth for the most career home runs. He beat Ruth's record later that week and reached 755 by the end of his career. Aaron's record was not eclipsed until Barry Bonds cheated and hit his 756th in 2007. Another interesting trend of the 70s. Fans go streaking in Chicago. On opening day in 1974,
That was popular.
several naked fans rushed onto the field at Chicago's Comiskey Park. A lot of strange going on at Comiskey Park. We had the Black Sox scandal.
Yeah.
We have a no-hitter pitched on opening day. And now we have fans
Streakers.
streaking at Chicago's disrupting the game and inciting violence in the stands. And who has the most opening day home runs? Hall of Famer Frank Robinson
Wow.
and Ken Griffey Jr. share the record for most career home runs on the first day of the season with 8 opening day homers each.
That's impressive.
And Frank Robinson, may he rest in peace, passed just recently. And who has started the most opening days? Hall of Famer Tom Seaver has started the most opening day games in history. He started 11 for the New York Mets, 3 for the Cincinnati Reds, and 2 for the Chicago White Sox, for 16 in total.
Wow.
And just to give you an idea, this year, and the Dodgers have a Korean pitcher pitching the opener this year for the first time in 9 years. Clayton Kershaw is not throwing the opening day for the Dodgers. He's rehabbing an arm. But that kind of wraps up my baseball trivia for today. And, you know, just to go over a couple of things, there's so much.
One more thing. Skip wanted to ask you a question.
What?
He wants to know what our prediction for wins are this year and what players should we look out for. We got to add Skip to the show since that's your newest buddy.
Well, I tell you this. The Pirates won 82 games last year. I say that the Pirates have the capability to win 88 this year.
Whoa.
Okay. And the people to keep an eye on, I think Jameson Taillon will be a Cy Young candidate this year. I look for a bounce-back season from Josh Bell. I look for him to double his home run total from last year.
Whoa,
12 home runs.
24.
I expect to see solid play from Corey Dickinson and from Starling Marte. Gregory Polanco will be a good big question mark, and we'll see how he comes back from his injuries last year. But Jung Ho Gong has hit 7 home runs so far this spring, leads the majors in home runs. And I look for Jung Ho Gong to be quite a performer this year, but I would not be too surprised. I'm going to go out on a limb on this one to see Jung Ho Gong ultimately become trade bait because Cabrian Hayes has been ripping the cover off the ball, and he needs to play some time in Indianapolis. He played for Altoona last year, and from the reports that I've heard from some people that went and saw him play, he is the real deal. Yeah. He plays a good third base. And he's got some power in his bat. And, and there's a guy that once we bring him up, 6 years of control, and that's exactly fits the Pirates' business model perfectly. I think we got Gong for this year, you know. And, and so, we've got Colin Moran now who'll be playing a backup first base, backup third baseman. But Jung Ho Gong has played very well, and he could put some pop into the Pirates lineup. I mean, the Pirates last year were greatly lacking in home runs. They were deficient. But, here's the thing. I do believe the Pirates are going to score more runs than they scored last year. I don't believe they're going to be one of the league leaders in runs scored. And I think the thing that will offset that will be the pitching staff. And if the pitching staff performs, as I feel that they will, you don't have to score as many runs if the pitching staff's keeping the runs down. So I think we're solid on middle relievers.
I agree with most years. I'll just be a short little thing here. I think they win a couple more games than they did last year. If the pitching staff holds up and does what they're expected, I think we could have a winning record this year. As far as the hitters, we got a lot of ifs out there. If Bell can find that power back. He hit for average last year and may have had the sophomore jinx. Didn't hit the homers. Maybe that'll come back. Kong, I'll take homers over average right now. So that's what I'll take right now from him. He's providing that, so that's a good sign. I think Marte's going to crack 30 home runs this year and 30 steals, so he'll be in the 30-30 club. I'm looking forward to that. Polanco is a question mark because of that injury. You don't know how severe it affected him. He's coming back rapidly and has improved rather quickly, so we shall see him probably before the end of May. So he'll get a chance to produce, and he has the power.
If he could come back and hit the way he hit in July and August last year,
that'd be perfect.
Then the Pirates would be in a really, really good place. But I think there's a lot of positives for the team, and if everybody just gets their head out of the I hate Bob Nutting. Hey,
bottom line, Bob, forget about him.
We're rooting for the players on the field. Their performance on the field, that's what I root for. That's what I focus my energy on. I don't worry about who's in the front office or whatever.
And one more caveat. Adam Frazier will be hitting .320 this year. He may not be the best defensive second baseman we have, but he'll be out there hitting the heck out of the ball.
But I'll tell you what, I'll take the production at the plate. Over
that's what I'm saying.
Play in the field.
Yeah.
So, we did have a bit of an upgrade at shortstop with Eric Gonzalez, and he's a little bit questionable at the bat right now.
He's a little sketchy. I'm waiting to see that.
Well, and that's okay because right now the Cleveland Indians still wish they had him because the Indians are going into the season with Jason Kipnis and Jose Lindor, both on the disabled list.
Right.
So he wasn't playing because those two were playing in front of him.
Right.
And that's what made him available to the Pirates for a trade. And the Indians are looking back at that, saying, "We got Jordan Luplow and Max Moroff. Oh boy.
Oh, good luck to us.
Oh boy." But one last thing about the Pirates. We talked about last year. 82 and 79. Take this into account. The team with the best record against Central Division foes
Buccos
were the Pirates, and we play in the strongest division in baseball. I mean, Milwaukee won the division last year. They have Chicago Cubs. The Cardinals are always one of the top teams. Yeah. And think about the teams, those three teams, and we had the best record against our Central Division foes of any of the Central Division teams. And I'll tell you what, that just tells you that it's not the amount of dollars that you spend. It's the way the players play in the field.
On the field.
And I'm going to enjoy the season. It's going to be some ups and downs. There always are.
And we're very optimistic because they haven't thrown a first pitch yet. Let's see.
Let's see.
They could do it.
Yes, sir. And
what else did you have here?
Well, I had a couple of there's some additional low seed. There's some low seed stats. There's last year was the first time a 16 seed, and this year there wasn't a lot of upsets. But the lowest seeded team to win the NCAA tournament happened back in 1985.
Whoa!
Rollie Massimino and his Villanova Wildcats.
Yeah.
I do believe they beat the Georgetown Hoyas.
Wow.
Okay. The lowest seeded combination in the national championship game was the 2014 pairing of number 7 seed Connecticut and number 8 seed Kentucky. Connecticut won to become the second lowest seeded team to win the tournament. The pairing of number 8 seed Butler and number 11 seed VCU in the national semifinals in 2011 had the lowest seeded combination to play in a national semifinals game. Penn's 1979 Final Four appearance is also notable as they made it as a number 9 seed out of 10 teams in their region, making them the lowest seed to make the Final Four in the pre-64 team era. Butler's the only team to make consecutive Final Fours, let alone championships games, while not being a number 1 or a number 2 seed either time. Number 5 in 2010, number 8 in 2011. 1991, 2013, 2016 were the only years where at least one team of every seed, other than the 16s, advanced to the round of 32.
That's interesting.
Richmond is the only team to win first-round games, ranked as a number 14, as a number 15, a number 14, a number 13, and a number 12 seed. Richmond Spiders, I believe they are.
Whoa.
2012 was the only tournament to feature 2 upsets by number 15 seeds over number 2 seeds in the round of 64. There have been 8 all-time. Just some interesting facts that we've seen in the tournament.
Good stuff.
And, we didn't see that happen this year in this tournament. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out because I do think that that Duke showed that
they're vulnerable.
They're vulnerable. They can be beaten, even with the almighty Zion Williamson
and R.J. Barrett.
He's one and done, and
he is a great player. Just with how he handles the ball, how he can jump, how he can rebound, how inside they couldn't block him out from rebounds.
No, he's 6'7".
He's the real deal.
280 pounds. He's definitely not. He's a man, and he's a boy in a man's body.
Yeah, for sure.
Is what he is. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But plenty of games this weekend to enjoy.
Yes, we shall see for sure. And Chip wanted to thank us. Skip thanked us for his information and all that, and he agrees with us. So
good.
Can't go wrong.
I'm glad you agreed, and I'll keep the trivia coming, Skip.
Skip's a happy man. On location, we'll be back at Olive Oil's Pizzeria on the 8th of April. That's April 8th, 7:30 to 8:30, 930 Brookline Boulevard. That's a mouthful, but that's where it's at. There were pizza specials last time. We got a football team coming in, an arena football, Pittsburgh Defenders coming in. We got a bunch of other guests that are lined up for the show. I even have Judge Arnone, local judge in Upper St. Clair and Bethel Park, going to make an appearance to tell what's going on in our community. And he's always a great guest on our show, and he can talk sports all day long like we can. So we'll find out some more of the things that he's doing in the community to help the kids out. So stay tuned for that. A bunch of great guests will be there. And come out 7:30 to 8:30 to see the show. I even have Jose Carabella and his champion boxer, 3-time Golden Glove winner Colleen Davis will be there. She's really progressed in the last few years from what she does. She got a great punch, and she may win the Golden Gloves this year. We shall see. We will find out. I think she fights on the 7th, and they'll be at our show on the 8th. So we'll be up to speed with what's going on, but some great guests for you to see and meet in public. And by the way, I'm going to be doing a show on April 5th at the Oaks Theater in Oakmont. You can't miss it, right in downtown Oakmont. I'm going to interview Sid Bream. The curse of Sid Bream, his career before the Braves, after the Braves, and what he does now. We're going to get into some in-depth interviewing, and it'll be great. There's a bar, there's a restaurant, there's food there. So come on out. That's at 7:30, April 5th. It's a Friday night. You're all welcome, all ages. Kids are coming, everything. You're more than welcome to come out and see the Talking Machine interview Sid Bream. Let's have a fun night there, and it's a great... The venue's great. It's a remodeled old-time theater, has a great stage, and they got tables available there and a lot of different things there.
I was there for Jessica Lee's Christmas show a few years ago.
that was great that night there. And the guy who promotes the events there called me up and asked if I'd like to do a sports interview. I had to pause a little bit, and I said, "Why, certainly."
Not very long, right, Al?
10 seconds.
I got you.
I waited 10 seconds.
Gee,
that's all I had
make
in
him
me.
Sweat. Yeah, you make him sweat.
He didn't even sweat. He goes, "Okay, thanks." And then when I told him I could possibly get Sid Bream, and he goes, "That'd be even better," because he wants to make a series out of this. So maybe every couple months I'll be interviewing an old-time Steeler, old-time Pirate, something that we can go back to and think back in glory days. Look at maybe even Al Oliver, because he should be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
That might be my next guest, so stay tuned for that. Oaks Theater, we'll have a fun night. Chip was there. He'll tell you what a great venue it is, just a great place there, and it's easy parking right around there on the street. So see you out there, 7:30, April 5th. And we'll be back with some Penguin talk next. Believe it or not, the Pens are one game out of first place. Who would have even thunk? A month ago they were talking, will they even make the playoffs?
Well, you know, before
it's so close.
It's so close right now. We're in a position where we could either win the division or miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
And we had a 4-game road trip, total of 8 points available. The Penguins got 7. They were 3-0-1.
Can't beat that.
And, you know, and going into the road trip, Penguins again had lost 2 close games, giving up leads late. But it looks like Matt Murray has become the workhorse.
He's stepped up.
And, you know, he's playing more minutes than any other goaltender in the league. And he is, you know, he has stopped more shots recently than any other goaltender, which is good and it's bad. You know, if you have to, you know, there's glasses half full and it's half empty, right?
Because, and he is injury prone. He's injury prone.
He is stopping the shots, but, you know, the defense in front of him has got to minimize the amount of shots that are getting through to him.
Right.
Okay? Because, you know, he's a phenomenal goaltender. He can make the big saves.
Yeah.
But I just have to say, if anybody watched that game in Dallas on Saturday night, the Spinnerooski by McCann to win the game, I had to rewind that 6 times to watch what was happening. He had enough presence of mind to get that onto his backhand and give it enough sauce that it got between the goaltender's arm and his body as he was closing his arm.
It was a heck of a shot.
And, you know, it was just amazing, and that was the game winner. Yeah. You know, in regulation. So we got the 2 points. Big game on Friday night. We've got the Nashville Predators here in Pittsburgh. Yeah. And I do believe that Ole Mata may be back playing again for the Penguins. Yeah. I don't know if Chris Letang is going to be playing. He's out injured. Evgeny Malkin is injured. Yeah. But yet, still, the Penguins against the Rangers last night started off in a bad way.
Oh. 2 down.
2 down. And then all of a sudden, one goal, seconds after the Rangers scored the second, and the Penguins took charge of the game.
That was a key goal.
And the thing that frightens me about this Penguins team, they keep on going to that well, and they're going to go to this one too many times. They keep on flipping that switch on.
Yes, they do.
And I'm telling you what, that is not the way to win playoff hockey. I mean, you can get away with that in the regular season, but the intensity goes up.
Like
once you
I've
hit
said
the
many a
playoffs.
time, they're one of the few teams that can flick that switch on, and when it's on, look out, baby. Now, they didn't play a full game again, so to Chip's concern, 40 minutes out of 60, I'll take it.
Yeah, but you know what I'll take? 5-2 win.
Yeah.
And thank goodness for Matt Murray. And we've got, like I said, we've got 5 games left this year. And here's the thing:
No back-to-backs.
Carolina and Washington are playing a home-and-home series. They're playing 2 games between now, and these are the 2 teams that we're vying for positions with. Now, Washington, they're in first, I believe.
Yeah, they're in first by 1.
Now, the Islanders could actually leapfrog Washington this evening.
Yeah.
So, there is, there's a reason to watch the last 5 games of the season,
Actually, the NHL couldn't have asked for anything better than this.
Yeah, you
got high interest, it's worth watching, and it means something.
And this is one of the things, we as Pittsburgh sports fans, we're spoiled. I mean, we're spoiled.
Amen.
If you look at the Pittsburgh Penguins roster and all the high-priced talent that they have, the same thing you looked at the Steelers. They had Bell, they had Brown, they had Ben.
Yeah.
And the way that, for example, for the Steelers, have underperformed with such talented players, the league's best at their positions.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Penguins are scratching and scraping and clawing, trying to fight their way into the playoffs, I don't think it really reflects as poorly on the team, even though there are some players that have really needed to step their game up.
Sure.
It just shows you how much better the league has gotten. One of the things about when the Penguins won back-to-back cups, they were the fastest team on ice. They took control of games. And, professional sports, they're copycat leagues.
Yeah.
And the league has gotten faster. Teams have gotten better. And the Penguins are no longer the most talented team on the ice.
Right. They've caught up. Yeah.
The fact that they take a period off, this is something that once we get into April, they're not going to be able to do.
Nor will other teams let them.
This team still has the pedigree to win a Stanley Cup. But can they consistently play 60 minutes of hockey and keep their focus?
That's the question I have.
It wavers. It wavers. Phil Kessel, when is he going to start?
He's gone.
Lighting it up.
He's gone. He's not even there.
Yeah, and and Evgeny Malkin, his minus 20-something.
23.
You can't have that.
And yet he averages a point a game.
But you look at Gabranson, you've got McCann producing. Yeah. There are some people that are picking up the pace.
Look at Schultz.
Well, the Penguins absolutely missed Justin Schultz the first 4 months of the season.
No doubt.
Without him, the Penguins' defense was suspect at best, and we saw what happened.
Yeah.
And look at how well the defense has begun to start playing since he's been back.
Yeah.
And if we can get him back with
Letang can come back healthy, would be nice.
And they need to get healthy in a hurry because with the Stanley Cup playoffs, you're playing 2 months of hockey every other night. There's
and
no
serious.
2 days off.
It's serious.
And the intensity level is times 10.
Yeah.
Well,
they've been through it. Like you said, I've said, we've been spoiled 2 out of 3 years to win cups, and to be in a chance for a running of even winning the division this year, something nice to see.
And you and I both know this. None of them are getting any younger.
No.
And a season of punishment in the NHL and then going through a long playoff run, which
Yeah.
is like a second regular season.
Sure.
And it's like a second regular season on steroids.
Yeah, yeah, and it's nice to see the GM Rutherford bring in some younger players because
Yeah,
we
well,
needed that youth, we needed that speed, and he did do it. He made a mistake, Broussard, last year, but he overcame that.
And I tell you what, I tip my hat to Mike Rutherford because when he makes a mistake,
Jim
Rutherford, here's what when he makes a mistake, he owns it. He does something about it.
Yeah,
he's
proactive.
He's not sitting there continuing to trot Broussard out there. And Broussard's been traded since he's been traded.
Yeah, he just didn't have it. So those things happen.
But the guys they got from Florida for him, that was masterful.
Yeah.
They got McCann.
Yeah.
And what was the other one's name? Branson or something like that.
Yeah.
But either way, the players that Rutherford picked up, he has had his eye on them for several years.
Sure.
And he kept going to Florida, and he couldn't come up with the right package to get them to really. And he's persistent.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
If at first you don't succeed, right?
Try again.
There you go.
Definitely.
And that's good stuff.
No, he does it. Yeah, Skip wanted us to bring up another thing. The NCAA had a great tournament this past week with wrestling. It got over 100,000 people there. Penn State has a championship.
Penn State won the
teams.
national championship.
Yeah.
A young man from Franklin Regional.
Right, I saw
Spencer Lee was his name. He is wrestling for the University of Iowa. And in his sophomore year, he's won his second national title.
Yeah. I saw that.
And then there was the upset because one of my coworkers is a Hokie. Virginia Tech's a young Virginia Tech wrestler beat a two-time defending NCAA champion who wrestled for Penn State.
Right, I saw the loss there, which was a shock.
Which was a shock because but
Penn State's won 8 out of the last 9 years
since they brought in the new coach. And for the life of me, I don't have his name, but they said from the day he walked into the building, that program changed.
And he has more wins in wrestling, I think, than anybody else ever.
And maybe you know the answer to this. I would probably have to look it up. But is he a student of the great Dan Gable? Dan Gable was the wrestling coach from Iowa, who won. He was an institution. He was an institution.
Yeah.
But they filled up the PPG Paints Arena.
109,000 people came out.
And this is not professional wrestling, folks. This is Greco-Roman wrestling. This is the kind of wrestling you see in the Olympics. This isn't.
It's real.
This isn't flash and dash, and it was a great event to have in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I had some concerns going into the
brought
weekend.
in, I think they were saying maybe upwards of $8 million for one weekend. That's not too shabby.
And the city of Pittsburgh desperately needs that kind of an influx of tax money, So
and it was well attended. People loved it, had fun.
And you know what? More importantly, there was no incidents.
No.
There was. It's great to be able to hold these types of events. And and let people see that Pittsburgh is a city that is worth coming to.
Sure.
That you can
have
come
fun,
and have
bring your family.
There's plenty to do, plenty to see.
Yeah. Bring your families out. Another thing that's happening on Sunday, Roberto Clemente has an open house, the Roberto Clemente Museum. I'm going to be there. I got an invite to go there. So I'm going to go check it out there, Chip. I wanted to tell you.
I might find my way down.
Come on down there on Sunday.
I've got a 3-day weekend this weekend. Well, actually, a 2-day weekend. I'm working Saturdays now. But, I've taken Monday off to go down to the opener. And, thanks for the Pirates. They have...
but the Roberto Clemente Museum, it's great if you haven't been there.
I haven't. And I will tell you this. People buy jerseys and and all this and that. And there's only one professional athlete whose jersey I will ever wear and I have ever worn, and that's Roberto Clemente's. I wear
a new one down there. They got jerseys and stuff.
I wear my Pirates gear. I wear Steelers gear. I wear Penguins gear because I root for the team, not the players. But Roberto Clemente was my idol from my childhood.
Bring Stephanie down there. I know she likes a drink once in a while. They do have wine there. Firehouse 25.
Well, you know,
Franco Harris has special wines that they make, and
if she's up to it, you know, she's.
I'm being optimistic.
Getting over.
Once you get rid of that pneumonia, it takes you a couple weeks to get back. I'm back. I got full strength.
Yeah.
I was tired. I understand what it's like.
She's having a heck of a time, but she's getting well. And I'm in full-blown nurse mode for her.
Yeah, I've run into a few other people that have had pneumonia. I go, wow, what is it, an epidemic?
No, she went from Monday evening from having a cough to Wednesday morning full-blown into pneumonia. So it happened fast, unfortunately.
Yeah. Mine took a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So who knows? But it happens. But yeah, mark your calendar for Sunday, Chipper. Roberto Clemente Museum.
Roberto Clemente. I tell you what, you know,
it's a great venue.
Just the most amazing ball player I ever saw play in my life.
Yeah.
I saw him play at Forbes Field. I saw him play at Three Rivers Stadium. But I probably saw him play more frequently at Forbes than I did at Three Rivers.
Yeah.
He only played for a year and a half at that stadium.
Sure.
2.5 years.
Two
Yeah, we
plus
got
years.
his 3,000th hit there at Three Rivers Stadium.
72.
Yes, and against John Matlack on September 30th.
Yeah.
But
last
hit
day
of
of the
his career.
season.
Last
day of the season, too.
Yes, it was. But
yeah.
who knew that he'd be taken away? To this day, I can remember that New Year's morning. Cried my eyes out. I was.
Hey, Marianne, who cut my hair, was
11 years
mentioning,
old.
because I mentioned going there, and
Or 12,
she goes,
yeah.
I'd like to go there. She goes, I remember what I was wearing that day, where I was at when we heard about it, and she goes, I cried.
I cried too, and my father, my father was realistic. I was like, they're going to find him.
Yeah.
They're going to find him. He's holding on to a piece of rug. They're going to find him, and
that's what Manny Sanguillen thought.
I never. Great man, great baseball player, great ambassador.
Hey,
for
we
the
used
sport.
to pretend to catch the ball like a basket catch, like he would.
And every time,
right? We did it all the time.
Every time I tried to catch the ball like that, my father put me on the bench. He said, "We don't play hot dogs here." He said, "You use two hands on the ball. Two hands. None of this basket catch stuff."
We broke the rules when we were playing our own games without uniforms. And
my-
uniforms never made a basket catch on a Little League field.
My father used to say, "Be reasonable. Do it my way."
That was reasonable. Hope you liked the show. We're winding down. Prayers to Smoking Jim Frazier. We miss him here. That empty seat's collecting dust. We need him to come on back and
Heal
rehab.
quickly, my friend.
Heal quickly. Thanks, Chip Hayner. Appreciate it. Thanks to all of you watching the show. This is Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Stay Joey strong.